Yes, I think we need to start by qualifying what actually is the context of the water challenge in Africa. All 54 countries in Africa are considered to be water insecure, with 13 of them considered to be critically insecure. So the water is a real challenge in Africa. However, when we look at what the data tells us, is that in a study done by the UNEP in 2006, they were able to demonstrate that there is sufficient water, rainwater, that is available in Africa to meet anything up to including nine times the population of Africa, almost. If you look at that in the Kenyan context, the rainfall that actually lands in Kenya can actually meet between 5 and 6 times its own population, the current population, which is heading towards 50. So that's a reality we need to start understanding, that part of the challenge we have in Africa and in Kenya for that matter is that we seemingly are not harvesting and utilizing our rainwater resources to the extent then becomes more of a management challenge. So speaking to that, then we start seeing there are various options that are available. Most recently, one of the key things we see coming up is technologies that focus on rainwater harvesting, and this is not only what happens at household level, but also what happens, how you then introduce technologies such as managed aquifer recharge, which is a new innovation. It's been there, but not enough has been done to start addressing the whole question of aquifer recharge. So we're very good at extracting our groundwater resources, but not enough effort is being put in actually harvesting and recharging our aquifers. Therefore, technologies that are in that dimension start becoming more relevant. Some of these, of course, what will be your typical case, infiltration wells, infiltration galleries, check dams. Those are simple, they look very simple, but indeed they're very relevant. Some would be more complex, which would include actually digging deep wells where you channel water and then actually channel the water into those aquifers. So those are some of the innovations we see coming up. But in the water sector, there are quite a number of technologies. So solarification is an important part of this conversation, which has to do with harvesting rainwater from those utilizations. But even more importantly, and I think that's where we sometimes miss the point, is that water conservation is a collective responsibility. It starts from households, it runs to the riparian areas, it comes to the dams, it comes to the aquifer recharge, it comes to how you actually utilize. So there are technologies that fit all those different levels which can be utilized to ensure better availability of water for use. And importantly, when we now talk about things like automated water ATM machines or water vending, that becomes an innovation and a technology. But understand, conservation is a broader agenda. It goes beyond actually supplying the water. If you don't deal with where the water comes from, how it is harvested, how it is stored, how it is distributed, and how it is vended at the final point of use, you will find out that we lose out from a climate perspective. So there are opportunities to address mitigation needs from a climate perspective, but there are very many others that need to be integrated to address resilience. Because if you look at it from one perspective, if you have a solarified borehole which does not have water and has run dry, what is the purpose of the solar? So it's important for us to start thinking about conservation when we're really talking about this.